Title reader tonight is Phil Hahn. Thank you, Phil, for volunteering. And our judge really needs no introduction. Charlie Ginsburgh, by my count, this is his 7th time. He's judged one of our monthly competitions. He's also our go-to end of the year judge, where he has to go through about 1,000 images every year. He's done that the last 4 years, I believe. So he's been a key part of our competitions. And judges get invited back by people who fill out that form that I send out every month, and he always gets very good rave reviews. That's why we see so much of him. So with that, thank you, Charlie. Want to say a few words while I
you can hear me, correct?
Yes, I can hear you.
Excellent. Okay. Just if I get a little muddled tonight, I'm coming down with a head cold, and so in case something sounds a little odd, I'll use that excuse. No, thank you for having me back again. It's always great to see faces, and I look forward to talking about your images.
Great. We'll go through what critique feedback, then nature, then travel. Then we'll take a break, 5-minute break, and then we'll finish up with pictorial. Go ahead, title reader.
Hospitality in the heart of Mongolia. A woman serving dinner in her ger.
Okay, so these aren't in any submitted in any specific category that I understand here. So, you know, this image can say a lot of things and do a lot of things depending on what your intent was. It's a documentary shot. It shows the activity going on inside. You get an idea of a little bit of where it is in terms of being Mongolia, but you got some interesting lighting and very realistic rendition of this event, showing what's going on. So nice job. Thank you.
Pareidolia abounds.
All right. Yeah, pareidolia is making sense out of things that aren't necessarily sensical or identifiable. So here it's up to you to decide what it is you really see as you look at these shapes there. And I think it's a wonderful, both the title coupled with the image, I think is a nice presentation. It's a fun game. The image is great in and of itself, wonderful lines to look at, and enough undulating detail to really let your imagination go crazy here. So thank you.
Flooded.
Yeah, okay. This one's a little harder to understand. It's so dark and sort of artfully lit, but in such a way I'm having a hard time understanding what I'm looking at, and therefore relating the image to the title is a little difficult. Flooded. Where's the water? Where's the demarcation? What shouldn't be flooded versus what is? I can't tell any of these things. So I'm a little I think your title doesn't really support what I'm trying to see in the image. A lot of it because of the dark nature of how you used your exposure. Thank you.
No geese take flight. Bosque del Apache National Wildlife Refuge, Arizona.
Okay. A good image of these geese there. You did a nice job of capturing some that are still, some that are just getting into flight, and some that are flying all over. And I think that's wonderful. The white balance here is a little on the odd side, though. All the geese seem to have a bluish tinge to them. And I suspect they may have been shadowed, and sometimes in our images, shadowed images take a blue tint. But I would definitely have gotten rid of some of that tint and maybe brought down the highlights just a little bit if possible. But aside from that, that sort of unnatural feeling with the color, it's a great rendition and I'm enjoying it. Thank you.
Nike, one of 4 images. Nike missiles provided air defense during the Cold War and after. Nike Hercules was the 2nd generation Nike missile, replacing the Nike Ajax, beginning in 1958. 2 of 4. 393 Nike Hercules ground systems were installed in the U.S. and abroad This is number 88 in the headlines. One of the 12 Nike sites defending San Francisco. The barracks house the crew. 3. With a range of 100 miles, a top speed in excess of 3,000 miles an hour, and a maximum altitude of 150,000, Nike Hercules were poised to defend against incoming bombers. 4 of 4. Nike Hercules could carry high explosives or nuclear warheads. At sites in the US, the missiles were almost exclusively nuclear. The last one was decommissioned in 1978.
Okay, so it's obvious from both the sequence, the content, and the titles that this is meant to be sort of a journalistic entry for the sequence. And so if we look at it from that point of view, the combination of the 4 images all tell the story, give us different aspects from it. Most of what we really learn, though, is in the text, and not if the pictures aren't giving us anywhere that kind of information. So something to think about is text really should be supporting the images in the journalistic sequence. Great, thank you.
Moods of Midnight.
All right, so here we have a creative and an artistic rendition. I think it's very nicely done. You know, you've got, you can see these undulating levels going off in the background, you know, the plant life in the foreground, that wonderful coloration and highlighting with your exposure. All that's done, and I think you capped it off with that white pinstripe border. So just a really nice, creative, artistic shot. Kudos. Thank you.
Tempest.
Yeah, this is just incredible. You know, how angry those clouds look given that lighting. And I think it's just tremendous. And this image just captures it. I mean, there's not a lot I have to say except that it's exquisite. You get the explosion of color in the middle there. You get the wonderful detail of the clouds. You got the differential lighting wrapping around. You go, you know, you get some all the things just make this just a tremendous image, and good job for capturing it. Thank you.
Storm clouds over courthouse and jail lawn.
Okay, so here you're highlighting the wonderful storm clouds, and so I think you did a nice job. I mean, you know, almost 4/5 of the image are the clouds, and that's appropriate, and that's what I was looking for in the title. That tells me that clouds being important is critical. You're giving me a context with the land underneath there, and a little bit of rain we have going on in the background. You got some wonderful coloration, a little bit of the blue to greenish type of counter backlight with the colors a little bit. So just a fun shot here. Nicely done. I have no problem looking at the clouds or focusing on the landscape and how the clouds are interacting. All of it's there. Thank you.
Nature intermediate images. Butterfly inside a rose, capturing beads of pollen on the buds with the sticky hairs of its tongue.
Okay, so here in this nature image, we're talking about the horsefly and how it interacts with its environment and feeding. So that's what we're looking for in the image. We can see to some extent what's going on there, although it's pretty hard to tell. It's really bright in terms of color, and you know, the bird or the horsefly is sort of blending in the red and the golds with the background. So it's a little bit difficult to really focus on the subject and understand how it relates to that title. I think a little bit of contrast, as I said, and maybe knocking down the intensity of the color might go a long way there. Yes, photographic issues are not as critical in nature as the story, but when the presentation or the photographic issues get in the way of the story, which I believe it does here, then it becomes an issue to consider. Thank you.
Young Thule elk at play on the bluffs of Point Reyes.
Okay. Nice shot there. We have the elk at play, you know, where it's happening. Those are good things. Yeah, I think you have the space in the title to include, you know, that the play is in training for competitions in the future. So this is not only is this play, but this is work. It's just a hard thing for them to go through to learn that. These are the kind of information I think would be appropriate to add in that title if possible, because your image supports that activity. Aside from that, though, the image is nice and clear. I want, not a lot of distractions, and you show the animals in a good light. So thank you.
Mother and child, snow monkeys, Macaca fuscata, Vigo Udine, Valley, Japan.
Okay, so primates always make good images, and here you've done a nice job of capturing that. It's not absolutely tack sharp, but it's sharp enough for us to appreciate we're seeing that. And she set off nicely with the background. The only thing in this image, I probably would have lightened up around her light sockets to make a little bit, which you can do in nature. You can do some dodging and burning. So I do a little dodging maybe to lighten that area up, because we do want to see the eyes. It's unfortunate neither subject or baby can we see eyes at all. So that's one thing that makes this a little bit less engaging in image. But aside from that, we caught this moment in time and you're giving it to us nicely. So thank you.
Nature Advance, 2 images. The mating pair of lions will separate from the pride for a period of several days. Courtship rituals involve the male rubbing his head along the female's body, nuzzling and grooming. The Saimara, Kenya.
Okay. Great image. I mean, you have both animals nicely shown and in focus, nicely separated from the background with your depth of field, and they're sharp enough and clean enough. So that's nice presentation. The Giving us a nice context to that. You're actually demonstrating the behavior by the rubbing, and so I think that's nicely done as well. But the only thing I would wonder about is I don't think you need as much sky. If you were to crop down and get rid of at least 2/3 of that pinkish sky, you might focus the entire image more upon the lions than even it is now. Thank you.
Giant anteater, Myrmecophaga tridactyla, is a terrestrial mammal that forages for ants and termites using its long nose and tongue. Anteaters are solitary unless carrying a pup under their feet.
Okay, a great image. Yeah, I've never seen this idea of a juvenile anteater on top of another. I just haven't seen that before. So I'm capturing something new I haven't seen before. What you are showing me, both the behavior and the both the adult and the male are both as sharp as they need to be, nicely separated. So the presentation with the image is there, and it's a good story. I don't know if I have any real suggestions for corrections. I like what you did here. It's a nicely shown shot. Thank you.
Nature Masters, 5 images. Mountain lion, Puma concolor, aka the cougar, puma, and approximately 38 other names in English, holds the Guinness record for the greatest number of names. This rescue lives in the Arizona Wildlife Museum.
All right. So, wonderful portrait shot here. We just have just a shot of this animal looking out from the lair. What you did give us photographically is just exceptional. The sharpness on the eyes, the scene it face on, the fact that the subject is framed by the darker area, the fact that there's a sense of depth in this issue with the foreground, midground, and background. All these things give us a really good image here that is absolutely captivating, and I just love focusing in on those cat's eyes and then exploring outward from there. All that's good stuff. I don't think your story, as shown in your title, has a lot to do with the image. Yes, it's a puma. Yes, he's a rescue animal, and that's about all that really relates to that. But in this case, that's not necessarily a bad thing. So thank you.
California poppy, Eschscholzia californica, is a state flower of California, found along the west coast of the United States. It attracts pollinators, is drought tolerant, and self-seeding.
Okay, so here, you can do in nature, you can have images of plants and flowers as long as they're not hybrids, and definitely these are native, so no issue here. In terms of this really being a documentary shot that's really showing these up, which is what the title sort of suggests, this is more of an artistic shot as we have, you know, the unbloomed bud blooming out in the foreground and different states of its behavior in the background, but not clear. It's more of an artistic shot. So from a nature point of view, um, there's some interesting things here, but I don't know if it all hangs together to my mind. But that just may be me. Thank you.
The strong, agile legs of the colorful Sally Lightfoot crab, Grapsis grapsis, allows it to live and feed amongst the slippery rocks above the surf and avoid predators. Galapagos National Park Ecuador.
Yeah, great shot. There's a lot of interesting things in here. Your subject was so still that you could use a bit slower shutter speed, which then allows you get a little bit of blur in the background, giving us a sense of motion in the background relative to the crab. And I think that's a really nice technique that has helped really portray this crab. The crab itself, wonderful color, sharpness, very clear, and you give us the environment it's in. And there's an interesting slight information about what we are seeing in the image within the title. Now, I think that's all very good stuff. Thank you.
Seeing an aardwolf is unusual as they are nocturnal and rarely out in daylight. Living on insects, one aardwolf can consume 300,000 in a single night. Kenya, E.C. septentrionalis.
Okay. Great image. The animal is nicely shown. The background is very interesting there. The animal does blend in with his background a little bit, but that's part of the story, and that's natural. That's why he's colored that way. So that's not to be unexpected. There's no problem, though, capturing the animal and seeing the face and the eyes. I think those are all great stuff. I might have been tempted to, again, lighten the area that is shaded around his eyes with a little bit of burning, make them a little bit more prevalent, but not anything that's unnatural, but just something to cut through a little bit of the shading of your scene. Something to think about, though. Thank you.
The tiny cactus wren, Campylorus brunica, can perch comfortably on the spines of the saguaro because it weighs only 1.4 ounces. Not enough force for the spine to punch its skin. Tucson, Arizona.
Okay. This image is more than just a portrait shot, even though it's a portrait shot taken in a heroic perspective, which is from down looking up. The bird is nicely shown, and we get a hint of the colors there. But what really you've shown us is him being perched on top of those spines, and then the kind of plant that has those spines. So that behavior is being shown, and it's also being talked about in the title. And as such, then this becomes a lot more interesting shot. It's more than just the bird. It's a bird with some unique behavior that some of us are just sort of amazed at. So nice job. Thank you.
Travel intermediate, one image. Dubliner outside the famous Temple Bar, an iconic Irish pub since 1840.
Okay. For travel, it's all about what it would be like if I was there. Doubler outside the famous bar. I don't know. I don't have enough information really to know exactly where in the world it is I'm looking at this. The Temple Bar somewhere. Maybe you call this person a Dubliner, so maybe Dublin. I don't know. And so the idea of giving me something about that place, you need to identify, at least in the title, that place. Also, I think this might be more effective had you been able to back off to give me a little bit more about the bar, or at least what it looks like. Here, we're so close to the person. The person's a major part of this as well, and that I think diminishes a little bit from the showing the place as a travel photo. Thank you.
Travel advanced, two images. Morning preparation, loading the camels with food and gear before trekking to the Altai Mountains of Mongolia.
All right, great. First, I mean, this shot, I love the fact that you've given a lot of space around your main subjects. That helps. That emphasizes the landscape. You got a wonderful foreground, midground, and background going on there. So all those things are just gorgeous in that area. And then you have the activity of people working on the different camels and the packing halfway done. Just gives us a feeling for what was happening there, but also you get a feeling for what these people are doing in this environment. And I think your travel image does a great job of showing this. Thank you.
When visiting the 2-mile-long National Mall, consider bicycling instead of walking, especially on hot and humid summer days. View from the Washington Monument looking towards the Lincoln Memorial.
Okay, sort of an unusual shot for this area here. You know, I'm not real sure, where I'm sitting in the mall and what part is the mall versus the monument. So showing off this area is a little bit more difficult. I can see some of the realistic landscapes, but the rest of it is flagged. So it's not as cohesive for that kind of travel image for this area as I've seen with some. Um, but it is an unusual presentation from this location. So it does challenge someone to really try to think about where they might be looking. Thank you.
Travel Masters, 5 images. Nairobi National Park borders the capital city. It's partially fenced to keep wild animals such as rhinos out of the capital. Well worth a visit before any safari. Kenya.
All right. So, initially when I saw this image, I was thinking, oh, this must be a nature image. But I began to read the title, and then I began to look about the juxtaposition of the natural animals versus the humans skyline in the background, and all of a sudden this took on a different outlook to me, and very unusual mixture of pure nature with the background of the man-made structures to be the travel basis. But that's what you're doing here, and I think that's sort of a fun approach. So good job, thank you.
The rugged west coast of Ireland is characterized by rocky inlets, meandering roads, and many stone fences.
I think what you're showing me here is great. You're talking more in general using, I think I would have said, an example of shooting at quote location is shown here. Um, you can show that this is what it's typically characterized as, but in telling me where this is per se, I could also know where that this is a good example of seeing that if I wanted to go. So I think there's a little bit more you can close up in this travel image. Thank you.
Hikers starting the Golden Canyon Trail shortly before sunset will pass the base of the landmark Manly Beacon and have nearly the entire trail to themselves. The Valley National Park, California.
Good, good. Yeah, it's a wonderful image of this landscape. You're going to see it along this trail. It's great that you have a person in it because that makes the trail, gives it some functionality. And that fits so nicely with the title. The title does a good job explaining what the significance of what it is that the title's showing or the image is showing. And I think that's a real good job. And it really gives me a sense of place. And that's what we're looking for in travel images. Thank you.
Native village of Kotzebue, Alaska. Candidates for Miss Arctic Circle line up for the 4th of July parade.
Yeah. And this image, I'd say, really is a journalistic image. You're talking more about the parade and these participants in it. And it happens to be we're in a location, foreign location. I think that's more an apt description of what I'm seeing in the image. Technically, could this be a travel image? Yes, in that you're showing me some native activity, but it's not telling me a lot more other than this journalistic representation of what it is you're showing me. Thank you.
Scorched Earth View, Big Basin State Park. Wildfire burned 97% old growth redwoods in the wildfire in 2020, Santa Cruz County.
All right, so this is both a documentary issue and you're telling us well, where this was in Santa Cruz, somewhere in Santa Cruz County that this thing is burned. In terms of travel, where in Santa Cruz County are you showing me? Where do you want me to focus upon this other as to what might be the important things going on and or where to go to really see this kind of burning of the old growth. Something to think about in the travel division. Thank you.
Pictorial Basic 1 inch.
We'll take a short 5-minute break.
Pictorial Basic 1 image.
Bill, are you reading?
Bill,
Pardon?
boats, boats in harbor are safe?
Okay. So here we're in Pictorial. So it's you know, the total what they're looking at. I don't apply any of the other criteria to this image. Sort of as a retro type of image where there's a real high contrast and we lose quite a bit of detail in the trees and in the water. But that's a look that's associated with this kind of contrasty look. And so emulating some old film actual images. So it has that dated feel to it. And as such, I think it's effective. So, you know, good job there. I'm enjoying that. I don't see anything, any real corrections I would make. And it's got a nice little story to be told in this vintage look. Thank you.
Sign one. And
Okay, so you're a little bit, you know, your title I love is sort of a play on what we're seeing in terms of in the image, and I think that's fine. So we have this image of the vines, and then we have this nice background as well with the different layered looks. I think that's a very, very effective. Question I would wonder is, do you need as much of the vineyard in the foreground? If you were to crop a third of that away, maybe a quarter to a third of the vineyard part away, I think it might balance the image a little bit. I think the image can be, you can afford to weight the midground and background a bit more of this image because it's a wonderful rendition without impinging a lot on the story you're trying to tell. Something to think about. Thank you.
raindrops.
All right. Yeah. Great image here. Love the wonderful contrast between the leaf and the tarmac behind it. That's neat. A lot of interesting speckled colors all through that tarmac, and that works out nicely. Here you're not giving us the entire leaf, but I don't think you need to. So I think your crop is also a very effective presentation here. You know, I would probably have tried to build a little bit more contrast into those raindrops. That definitely, I probably would have selected a majority of the raindrops and put it on a contrast layer or a curves layer and see what happens if I bring a little bit more detail in. Turns out you might actually bring those up in a little bit more sharper detail, and that might be actually make it a little bit more impactful. Aside from that minor point, I think this is a great image. Good job. Thank you.
Pictorial Advance, 9 inches. Yucca.
Yeah, nice. I really like this effect. You know, taking that effect where you're shooting the plant, but you're doing it with an exposure that the black just goes to pure black, and so we have an artistic feel to this as well. Just a wonderfully artistic view of this thing, and I'm just enjoying it immensely. Good job. Next.
Morning Glow, Serenity at Sauces Play, Namibia.
Yeah. This is fun. This is a fun image. There's, to my mind, there's almost this image really breaks down to an element of three. We have the blue triangle, and we have the bright orange part that's sort of triangular, and the third part is that tree. and you got those three things, and there's this sense of one being in front of the other. So that's nicely done. Nothing is absolutely straight. And I love the difference between the dirt and the sand and the color you have there. So whatever conscious choices you made, either in the processing or in the behind the camera, good job. I might consider building a little bit more contrast to that tree, maybe around the edges, th- where the some of those tree limbs are beginning to blend in with the background. I might experiment with that and see if I can impact that without it becoming too odd. And so that's one suggestion. But aside from that, nicely seen and nicely captured. Thank you.
Loving exchange.
Okay, so here, wonderful nature shot. You show this behavior in progress, peak of action, great. You got the one bird delivering the minnow to the other, and the mouth's right open. I mean, the birds are as sharp as they need to be. The story is just a wonderful story here, and so I appreciate that. One suggestion, especially you might consider, is maybe darkening the background just a little bit. By darkening the background, it would make those birds and the wooden piling even pop out even more than what we're seeing here. Thank you.
Sunset from Prescott Island, Crescent City, California.
Wonderful sunset scene. You get the wonderful colors. You get the low sun there. You have wonderful reflections on the light. You have the layering in the water. Not only do you have a silhouette of a mountain, but you have a silhouette or a mound, but you have a silhouette of a tree. I mean, it's all there, and your sky's not plain. There's a lot of stuff here, a lot of detail going on in that sky that's reflecting from the setting sun. So, just a lot of good stuff here. I think it's a very classic shot. But these classic shots aren't easy to get, so kudos for this effort. Thank you.
I see Lofoten Shore, Norway, 2018.
Interesting. Okay, so here you really used a wide angle lens to really emphasize the foreground, but you're still showing a good foreground, midground, and background, so you have a sense of depth there. Interesting formations in the rock there. It almost looks like the one in front and center is a beast of some sort. It definitely has a presence there, and it gets your mind going, wondering what it is. But you've given us a lot of the other background as well, and I'm enjoying the sun we have in the mountain in the background as well. Probably I would have let the sky darken and maybe have darkened the mountains with the sun a little bit to see if I can match a little bit more of the relative intensity of the background to the foreground, which is a little on the shaded side, but appropriately so. Something to think about in terms of the exposure balance. Thank you.
The wonders that await. The forest entrance near Red Hill on Sonoma Coast.
All right. Giving me a nice idea of what this forest looks like. You picked a great place to put your camera or to stand to take the shot, or where you put your tripod down. Wonderful leading lines down that canyon. You got flanking ambassadors, which are plants in the foreground. You have those wonderful branches going or trunks going across it, which is actually breaking it up slightly, but giving us some leading lines. And we continue down into that nice little glen way in the back. So a lot of really neat stuff here. A nice view of what it would be like to be in this area. And there's a lot of good light that you've captured as well. Thank you.
Incoming tide at sunset. Como Bluffs Park, Fort Bragg, California.
Okay. It's sort of a neat sunset, misty sort of shot. There's a softness to it. Both your light is soft in terms of sunset, but there's sort of a mist feel to it as well, and I like that. I can see that you used a little bit longer exposure to get some sort of swirls in the water and in the surf. I applaud your choice of picking some to give a little bit of smoothness, but it's not tack sharp, and so there is a slight feeling of motion there, both in the foreground and the background surf that we see. Um, as I said, the light is gentle enough. There's that nice mist in the background of the sky. So the overall muted feel of this, both from mist and from late sun, is very effectively shown here. So just a great looking image. Thank you.
Freedom flight of a red-green macaw.
Yeah. Okay. You caught this bird nice in flight, and you know the wings are nice. The bird is as sharp as it needs to be. It's against a very simple background, but there's still enough detail in the background. I sort of know there's foliage back there, so I do have a feeling of the environment it's in. In terms of this, I probably would have done either lightened the beak a little bit. Notice how the beak is actually getting blending in with the background. And we really would like that to show up. So one way is you could lighten the parts of the beak that are dark a little bit. And another thing is you might try is to clone some of the lighter green behind the beak as the background. So make the background a little lighter by cloning in some of that yellow, the lighter yellow back there and right around where that beak is. And now all of a sudden that will show up and show off the bird in its entirety. A couple things to think about. Thank you.
View from the Antigua, Svalbard.
All right, so we sort of a nature, sort of a travel shot, but it tells us where it is. But we're giving us this view from off the boat. In this image, it's a little bit difficult because I'm not sure what's more important to you, the detail in the boat or the detail in the mountains and the environment, because they're broke out to about 60-40 in terms of the amount of stuff there. And that's where you chose to put your camera. That's the amount of composition you chose to add here. And so, yeah, the mountains, the waters, the sky is gorgeous, and then there's interesting stuff in the boat. And I just don't know which is the most important thing. So I sort of don't have a feeling of a hole in this image. Thank you.
Masters 7 inches. Wesley.
All right. So image of one predominant person standing up in this boat, and we can see that there are other people there behind it, but not how many or anything about it. So the lone part of a single person in a boat is sort of implied here amidst this wonderful landscape. And all that's nicely shown within the image. So good story here, fun stuff to look at. There are some things one might choose to do to maybe increase the contrast and the detail on the canyon walls. But in this case, I don't know if that makes the story more compelling or not. Thank you.
A whale of a storm over Oregon, Oklahoma.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, that popped on the screen, and I saw this earlier, but it popped on the screen, and I went, oh, just cringe at that cloud. And so if that's my response, however you manage to do it, you accomplish your goal here. Nice rendition of the cloud, wonderful detail. It just showing it amidst the plain, having a little bit of the thunderhead and some space between it though and the ground where we have that yellow sky. I mean, there's a huge amount of wonderful things going on here, compositionally speaking, as well as technically speaking for this image. So just a great image, and I'm just enjoying it immensely. Good job. Thank you.
Woman, Kara tribe, Ethiopia, 2024.
Yeah. So good night, nice rendition of this woman. I'm enjoying especially her face and the fact that with all those dots there, it's still easy to look right into the eyes and look in the eyes and then moving over to the beads and the rest of her. You get a feeling of the place, and I get a sense of a personality. And I'm not sure exactly what it is in this image that is helping that come across, but it does to me. And so, yes, there are some distractions. This is a difficult image in terms of those bright spots in the background. But in this case, perhaps they sort of giving it as a contrasty, harsh environment, and this person maybe goes hand in hand. So nice job. Thank you.
Fern Falls.
All right. So here we have a falls here. And here the maker has really decided to use a long exposure, which gets this kind of flow pattern off. Now, that's a personal choice. It's not wrong. It's not right. It just gives the effect the maker was looking for in this case. Um, Most other people would pick some, if they wanted it more realistic and less artsy, may go less exposure time. But that may be the intent of the maker in this case. And I think it's very, very demonstrative in that. And in this terms, this image, it works. So nice job on all those things. Thank you.
Forest abstract.
Yeah. Okay. So, you look at this, you have no idea what you're looking at. The title tells me that it may be something involved with the forest. So maybe I can begin to think I see parts of forest in there. But consequently, I really can't. It's a guessing game. So I just enjoy it as the abstract that it gives itself to. And that's a good thing as well. For pictorial, that's a wonderfully artistic rendition of different things, which is parcel of what pictorial is all about. So nice job. Thank you.
Pacific heat wave.
Yeah. Okay. So we have this sort of stark, empty, yellow, perhaps warm, hot area here. And, there's not a lot going on in the sky. There's not a lot going on in the water. The rest of the image doesn't have a lot going on as well. And so you sort of get that feeling of baking. And that's, Pacific heat wave also supports that. So all that I think works out really nicely. And I love the tone you're telling me. There is some processing errors. If you look around the tree and you're looking around the fence posts, and even at the very end, we have white halos, and that has to do with the masks and the tools you did when you did your selections in processing that. And those are things that we can easily correct. And I think that you really need to consider correcting that, because the white haloing we see all around that is artificial, and it does detract from the image. Thank you.
The blur of speed, Sonoma Raceway.
All right. Yeah. So I'm guessing that in this case, the maker panned on that moving car and was able to keep him sharp, and yet everything around the cliff nice and smooth. I mean, it's a hard thing to do. So good job in doing that and letting the rest of it blur out. That's one way it could have been done. Another way it could have been done is to composite a couple issues and images, and the one image you did the motion blur on. But either way, the image itself portrays the energy of the car and the sense of motion going on. And that's exactly what your title is telling as well. One of the kudos for your composition, not putting it into the lower left or lower right corner, and letting him drive into the image. Here, he's nearly driving off the image, which is consistent with your title or your concept of speed. So the composition you chose for your subject also is very appropriate. Thank you.
That's also.
Okay, we'll take another 5-minute break. And then, yep,
Nature Intermediate, 3 images, 3rd place. Mark. M-Key.
He's the bug man.
yeah, I haven't seen Mark Knight.
Congratulations to Mark. 2nd place. Amy. Thank you.
I remembered for once.
Congratulations to Amy. 1st place. Mark.
That's really fun.
That is cute.
Yeah, that is.
Congratulations to Mark. Nature Advanced, 2 images, 2nd place. Stephanie.
That's so cool.
That is very cool.
Yeah.
Really cool.
It is.
The tail of the pup looks like another head.
Yeah,
Yeah, it does.
Really weird.
I wonder how rare it is to see something like that. It's a pretty amazing photo.
Exactly.
Congratulations to Stephanie. First place. Cindy.
Nice, Cindy.
Thank you.
Such a beautiful shot. Wow.
That is
Is that
stunning.
a zebra in the background?
It is.
Cool.
He kind of photobombed it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Nature Masters, 3 images. Third place. Tamara.
Mhm.
Never even heard of this animal.
No, huh?
Hard wolf.
Ard wolf.
They're hard to see.
Congratulations to Tamara. Second place.
Huh.
Bill.
It's fabulous.
That's
Yeah,
a
that's
great
beautiful.
story.
Cool.
He was just
Hey.
singing away. And then I realized what he was standing on.
You're
Yeah.
thinking, yeah.
I had to take a picture.
Neat.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
First place. Herb.
Great shot with the water action.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's really beautiful.
So colorful.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Herb. Travel Intermediate, 1 image. First place. Amy.
First is one image.
Uncle Bar.
Congratulations to Amy.
That's 2.2.
Travel Advanced, 2 images. Second place. Greg.
Yeah, I was in Washington, D.C. a couple of years ago, and it was hot in August. And these 3 kids pull up in their bicycles, and I thought, wow,
Nice.
red, yellow, green, blue, a lot of primary colors going on. And I was trying to project the sense of distance. From the Washington Monument to the Lincoln Memorial, it's about 3/4 of a mile. And then you turn around and it's over a mile to the Capitol.
Jeez.
So I thought, bicycling may be the way to go.
You had a nice breeze going.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
First place. Pat.
Didn't
That's
see
really
Pat.
cool. Really, really cool.
It's
Very
awesome.
Speaking of halos, is that a halo along the right side ridge line between the ridge and the cloud?
Yeah, it looks like that to me as well. I didn't note it when I was talking about it before, but that would be something I would get rid of. And it's actually very easy to get rid of.
Congratulations to Pat. Travel Masters, 3 images. Third place. Herb.
Thought that was his.
There's Lori.
Yep.
It's not wearing red today.
No.
Not as red.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Herb. Second place. Tamara.
This is cool.
Thought that was her.
It is cool.
Amazing.
Yeah,
The contrast between,
exactly.
the animals in the town.
Position.
Wow.
Congratulations to Tamara. First place.
Oh.
Jennifer.
Very nice.
Oh, thank you. Oh, yeah, beautiful, beautiful place. Just, I think I could get plunked down there and I'd know immediately where I was.
Ireland.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Pictorial Basic, 1 image, first place. John.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
nice.
stillness of
Yeah,
this.
nice reflection.
Is this his first entry?
I think so.
I think so.
Ah,
Congratulations to John.
John?
Pictorial Intermediate, 2 images, second place. Amy.
yeah. Cool colors in that.
Mm-hmm.
Texture, I like all that texture in the front. It's really neat.
Good color.
Congratulations to Amy, first place. Mark.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Yeah,
Very nice.
composition.
Mm-hmm. That's a good seeing.
Congratulations to Mark. Pictorial Advanced, 5 images, honorable mention. Ed.
Nice.
Yeah. That rock does look like a whale.
Yeah.
Something's
Something alive.
slithering off.
Right.
I thought paramecium.
Uh-huh.
Nice. It's fun to look at. The whole scene.
Very fun to look at.
Congratulations to Ed. Honorable mention. Pat.
Uh-huh. Namibia.
We do get around.
Lots of people getting around.
Yeah, she just sent an email. She wasn't able to get in.
Oh.
It's too bad.
Yeah, Herb also tried to get in.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really a shame.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Pat. Third place. Linda.
So beautiful, Linda.
Yeah, that's
Beautiful,
neat.
beautiful.
Thank you. It's one of my favorite places in Fort Bragg. I always have to stay in this little hotel. It's right close to there. I have to run out there at sunset and sunrise. It's just really, really beautiful. Thank you for the comments.
Really nice.
Congratulations. Second place. Ed.
He knows of some good places to
That's
go.
really neat.
Yeah, I love that red hill and
I'm
that
sure
path.
that is. Yeah.
Congratulations to Ed. First place.
Ooh.
Linda.
Woohoo.
Oh,
Oh
Linda.
my goodness. That was the only sunset for 5 days. We were out shooting in the redwoods. This was the only sunset.
Wow.
And it was just really, really, really fun. And really, really windy.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Pictorial Masters, 4 images, honorable mention. Tamara.
Look at those eyes. That's amazing.
Oh, just woo.
Yeah.
The lighting on her is just
Yeah.
fabulous.
Mhm.
Whoever did all the little dots really did it symmetrically. It's like, wow, how do you do that without poking somebody's eye out?
Congratulations to Tamara. Third place, Anne.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I just,
Hot.
Hot, yeah.
yeah.
Thank you.
Hot.
Ah.
Right.
Is
It was
Ann
so
mu-
hot, we went out to the coast for dinner and on the way back, Highway 1 was closed from a very bad accident. So we had to take the back road home over Coleman Valley. And so that's where I got this.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
One of
wow.
those really
Nice.
hot days.
Oof.
Yeah.
Looks
Very, very nice.
Congratulations. Second place, Herb.
Grand Canyon.
I think they were
Yeah.
there like 2 weeks, right?
right.
Yeah.
Just
Wow.
back from there.
Yeah.
It's fabulous.
Beautiful. Oh,
Congratulations to Herb. First place, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah.
That is amazing.
Whoa.
That is, yeah.
Amazing shot.
Weren't
Uh,
you afraid?
This is from the storm chasing trip in the Midwest a couple weeks ago. And that was like, this is a panorama. It was 5 different photos and
Yeah, Zeus.
that I put together. And these clouds and storms were just so huge. It's just, you felt like it was this big foot that was going to step on you if you weren't careful. And the hail and the lightning and everything about that trip was great. Well, there were things that weren't great, but things that stick in my mind.
But you captured, I mean, so many colors come out of those clouds, Jennifer, like colors you wouldn't, and you captured all those colors here, the different blues and the purples and that just come out of those clouds. It's remarkable.
Yeah,
and
the lightning,
really
I think,
good.
is what causes it. The lightning kind of turns things purple.
Purple.
There's so much weight to it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I like the
you-
little
Does look like
detail
a
in the
whale.
background on the horizon, all the little silhouettes of little
Oh, the power
power poles and
Yeah.
little
Poles.
buildings and stuff is amazing.
Yeah.
Did you consider doing any time lapse?
I didn't think about doing time lapse. That would have been interesting, huh?
Mm.
Well, a lot of times though, when it was moving, we got the order, back in the vans now.
Yeah. Rock and roll.
Wow.
Oh,
You were trusting, huh?
And we'd have to get out of there fast before we got, because they kept announcing hail balls that were like 3.5 inches and things like that. Can you imagine getting hit in the head with a 3.5-inch hail ball?
oh, or the hood of your car.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, cars were all dented up. Buildings were just destroyed on the outside.
Really? Wow.
Storms are powerful.
Oof. And this was Oklahoma. Oh, yeah. Good title.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
it does
yeah.
look like a whale to me. Thank you very much.
It does look like a whale.
Mm-hmm.
Really well done. Really
Yeah.
beautiful.
Exceptional.
Congratulations.
Stunning, stunning.
And best of show this evening.
Drum roll.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Oh,
Linda.
Oh my God.
Linda,
Congratulations.
congratulations,
Wow.
Linda.
My goodness. Thank you very much. Anne was slapping me around. I was out there. Move over here. No. It was a really fun trip. Yeah, thank you very much. Wow.
Good job.
Congratulations, Linda.
Thank you.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous.
I was there.
You were.
Thank you, Charlie.
Yeah, really,
Yes,
thank you.
thank you very
Charlie.
much.
Thank
Charlie has
you.
volunteered to
Appreciate all
answer
your
your
job.
questions.
Yeah, I will
expertise.
say that best in show decision was, I mean, there were so many good images that there could have been 3 different winners.
Wow, yeah. There's gorgeous stuff.
Very good.
Any
Yeah.
Good night,
questions or
everybody.
comments? Now's your time.
Thanks for your expertise.
I don't know, but I like your laboratory in the background.
Oh, okay.
Where are
Yeah.
you?
Mad scientist.
I did spend 35 years in the lab.
Oh my
So I
God.
decided, so that was made in Mid-Journey.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
That's AI generated. I just wanted to
Okay.
generate in 1920s era
No kidding.
laboratories. And
Wow.
it came up.
How funny.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if that's it, then thank you
Neat.
so much for having me.
Thank you.
for bearing
Thank
with
you.
Thank
Night,
you.
everybody.
Good night,
Night.
everybody.
Bye.
us. Bye.